Drop the gun. This gun? Okay. Kom nou, kom.
That is Prinsloo. This is a man who's a former police special task force member who left the police service in about 2004 and has since been running his own firearms training academy out of Centurion in Tshwane. And he does this work, this armed escort, as an extra income aside from his business that he does training other people on how to use firearms. But certainly an expert, somebody who's very well trained. And thankfully, I suppose, on that particular day that he was in this vehicle, that he was able to thwart this attack. He's been getting a lot of, praise, I suppose, internationally. He's become a social media sensation. People admiring him for his nerves of steel. And he's been described by some as South Africa's Chuck Norris, if you can imagine the memes that would be coming out of that. But this is, of course, very serious business. This is a stark reminder of the extreme violence that people in his position face. So I was asking about that particular question. You're busy driving down the road. You're escorting millions of rands worth of cell phones, and suddenly there is the crack of gunfire. What goes through your mind? Take a listen.
You start off with a day like that. You sort of need to expect things like that to happen because it prepares your mind for what you need to do. There's nothing that really can, prepare you 100% for a situation like that. The first time I knew they were there was when the gunshots went off. Instinct kicks in pretty much. When we train people, we usually tell them to pre-visualize what you're going to do. It's a mindset, and that's pretty much what happened. I pre-visualized what I was going to do, and to the best of my ability, I did what my mind just told me to do, and it worked out for me on that day.
And Barry, of course, it's clear that Prinsloo has years of experience. What about his fellow crew member?
Yeah, Lloyd Mthombeni, in not so many years. He has an experience as an armed response guard, but this was his 4th day on the job at this particular company and his 3rd day being assigned under the watchful eye of Prinsloo. And I think you'd certainly come away from this learning quite a lot. But, having spoken to him, he's quite a soft-spoken chap. It's the first time he's been shot at, he tells us. But I think he was in with the right person, the cool-natured manner in which Prinsloo handled the situation would certainly go a long way in teaching this young guard who's gone into this particular line, this armoured escorts, on how to handle a very difficult situation. And I asked him about that, having experienced the situation, what was going through his mind. Take a listen.
That time I was thinking of, maybe Mr. Leo, my crew, to actually try, like we said, trying to get rid of the threat. So that was the only option at that time. But the shots, it was my first time hearing shots actually sitting in a vehicle coming at us.
Was there any comfort knowing that somebody as experienced as Leo was your crew member?
Yeah, there was. There was comfort.
What have you learned from this?
I learned a lot, how to react on situations like that, because it was my first time, and thinking in a upbeat. When something happens, to think same time,
4th day on the job. If it were me, I would have resigned with immediate effect that same night. So since this went viral around the world, many armchair critics have come out to give the pair advice. What's Prinsloo's response?
Yeah, Shahad, I mean, you've heard those social media critics. Always got something to say, always know better, always have the background facts, and it's no different in this particular instance. Here are 2 men in a car being shot up to bits, and there are people questioning, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? You couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. And, Prinsloo, he's reading this, and he has taken note of it, but he's got a message for those people, and it's one of those that walk in my shoes for a day. Take a listen.
Come work a day with a guy like my crew here, Lloyd. Come work with the guys. on a road, climb in the car, you know, catch the bullets, see if it's fun out there. It's very easy in hindsight to criticize what should have been done and what could have been done. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. In that moment, you've got very short period of time to make critical decisions. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't have a chance to execute your plans because of the severity of the attack. Armchair critics must keep their opinions to themselves.